Hello there, and welcome back for another practice video. This is practice 46 on page 52. We are still in unit 7 about statistical information, and in this one we are going to be looking at mean, median, mode, and range. So if you have not watched the instructional video, I do not want you to watch this video. I want you to see that instructional one first because that will explain what all of these mean. I'm not doing instruction in this one. We're just doing practice. I would encourage you to try the practice before you watch the video. If you haven't done this yet, you might want to just stop the video, do the problems, and then check them with me. But however you want to do them, however your instructor has told you to do them, is what you should follow. You do need a calculator. I do not want to attempt this without a calculator, so have one handy. And let's get going here. This is one of my favorite things to do. Data distribution. Use the data set for items 1 through 4. Jonathan plans a trip to the beach. He finds the following rates for a one-night stay. So it looks like he called looked up a lot of different hotels, and these are the data that he came up with. And guys, let me remind you of something. Data is plural. Data is more than one. So you would say these are the data. Not these, this is the data. These are the data. The singular is datum. If you're talking about just one, like this one, that is a datum. This is data, or data. You can pronounce it. So be careful with that. When you get to college, a lot of professors, I've had some that don't really care, and then I've had some who get really hung up on that. So just bear that in mind. One of the things that I've done, speaking of college, for many years is to do a frequency table of my data. You don't have to do this, but I like to do this. It helps me to see a lot of things. So I'm just going to sketch myself a table. Tables are very useful study tools. They help your brain to organize. And sometimes, especially in a math book, that's what we need. It's the organization that gets us confused. So, this is a frequency table. And in this one, I'm going to put the dollar amount and then the frequency. Now, we talked in the last video, if you see the word frequency, that is statistical. You're looking at statistical data if you're talking about frequency. Okay, so this first price that he found was $110, and that first one, I'm going to just mark off tick marks. So that was this one. And then he found one for $85. That was one time that I see that one. He found a $180. So I'll mark that off. He found a $125. And that off. A $140. Mark that off. $110. We've already got that one, so just put a second tally mark up there. Then $175. $160. $175 again, and then $140 and $140. So put those in there twice. Then I want you to count your tally marks. So I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then we are going to count these data. There's 3, 6, 9, 10, 11. You want to be sure that all of these data are represented in this chart. Don't lose any of them. Okay, So a couple of things, I'll show you a couple ways that this can be very useful to you. And here's the first way with what is the mean of the data. First of all, I want to show you that there is quite a bit of variance in this data. From 85 to 180, that's a pretty good range of prices. So there has to be some other element here. Maybe the 180 per night is a hotel on the beach, where 85 it might be 20 miles down the interstate. So there are other variables that affect these prices. This has quite a bit of variance in the information. Okay, to find the mean, I'm going to use my frequency table. I'm going to say that I have 110 times 2 plus 85 plus 180 plus 125 plus 140 times 3 of those plus 175 times 2 plus 160. So using my calculator, I'm going to do parentheses first. So here we have this one, and this one. 110 times 2. I use a calculator on these even when I think I know the answer, because I know me. So 110 times 2, that is, let me not erase it because then you won't know. That is 220. Then 140 times 3 is 420. And then 175 times 2 is 350. Then I'm going to add these numbers up. So I have 220 plus 85 plus 180 plus 125 plus 420 plus 350 plus 160 equals. Now this is where if you and I were in a classroom together, we would check ourselves against each other. I came up with 1,540, and I hope that is what you got as well. So we're going to say that all of this equals 1,540. Then to get the mean, that's the average, I'm going to divide by 11, because he checked on 11 different hotels. So 1,540 divide 11 equals $140. So the average price was $140. We had some that were much less than that and some that were much higher than that. But the average price of a hotel is $140. What is the median of the data set? Now, this is the one personally that I hate the most because I'm lazy. To get a median, you have to put them in order, either ascending or descending. As long as they're in order, you're fine. I prefer ascending, so I'm going to start with the smallest one, which was the 85. And then I had a 110, and we had 2 of those. I recommend separating with commas. Then we had a 125, and there was only 1. Then we have a 140, and there were 3 of those. So you have to list all 3 of them. You can't just stick 140 in there. You got to list it. 160, there was 1 of those. 175 was in there twice, and 180 was in there once. Count these and make sure you have 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You don't want to miss any of them. then the median is going to be the one in the middle. So if the number is 11, halfway would be 5.5. So we would say here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The score in the middle is 140. That is the median. 140 was also the mean, the average. The mode, if you look at your chart that you made, you will know this one with no problem. It's almost worth making the chart just so I can do this. What is the mode of the data? Which one has the most frequency, the most tally marks? That is 140. That is your mode. It's in there more than the others. You can have more than one mode. You can have 0 modes, no modes. But in this case, our mode is 140 because there were 3 of those. The range of the data set, remember what range means. It is the biggest minus the smallest. Range is a subtraction process always. So the biggest is 180. The smallest is 85. So with your calculator, you get a difference of 95. And that's what I was saying a minute ago. There's a pretty big variance here. There's a lot of difference in the prices. You have lots of choices when there is a lot of variance. Okay, so that one is done. Hotel prices, we helped Jonathan sort out his choices. Use this data set for items 5 through 8. And you know what I'm going to do. You don't have to, but I do it whether you're with me or not, because I have learned how valuable this skill can be. You're setting up a frequency table. So in this first column, we have temperatures. And then always, this is the frequency of the data. How often is the data occurring? Reagan records the daily temperature highs over 7 days. And so we have to take those temperatures, and I bet we're going to have to find mean, median, mode, and range. I don't know that, but I think we will. So the first temperature she recorded was 82 degrees. And then I have a 90. I have an 88. I have another 90. And another 90. And an 83. And a 79. Count the tally marks. 4, 5, 6, 7. Count the data. 4, 5, 6, 7. So make sure that you have accounted for them all. And I didn't need that extra line, but we don't know that until we get down there. So let me copy this one. And actually, I'm going to shrink that bad boy so I can move it right up there. All right, to find the mean, use that table that you worked so hard on. You've got an 82 plus 90 times 3 plus an 88, an 83, and a 79. Parentheses first. 90 times 3 is 270. And then add all those up. So I have 82. Sorry, I'm getting my calculator up here. 82 plus 270 plus 88 plus 83 plus 79. And I got 602. I wish so much you and I could talk to each other. And then you could say, no, that's not what I got, or yes, that's what I did get. I would recommend, if you're doing these on your own, without me here with you, that you do this twice. Just be sure that you got the right answer. And we have 7 days, so we're going to divide by 7. So 602 divided 7 is 86. So the mean average temperature was 86 degrees. We had temperatures above that and we had temperatures below that. But the average, remember this is statistical, the average is 86. Median. I do not like median, but I've got to do it. So I'm going to move that in just a second, but let me just put it right there for a minute. Starting with the smallest one, I have 79. And then we have 82. We have 83. We have 88. And we have 90 in there 3 times. That's a total of 7. Count these to be sure you have 7. And we do. So I'm going to erase that table. Okay, median is the one in the middle. So you start counting in from both ends. Just if you want to make tick marks, that's fine. There's the one in the middle, the 88. So that is my median temperature. Again, some higher, some lower, but that's the middle one. So for number 6, we've got 88. The mode. When you see mode, think most. And this table will tell you that mode every time. Look at the frequency. Which of those has the most frequency? And that is your 90. It's in there 3 times. So 90, that would be A for number 7. The value that appears the most. And then number 8, when you see range, you think of subtraction. The biggest, the greatest minus the least. The table helps you there too. The biggest one I see is 90. The smallest is 79. So this is not a lot of variance, guys. This is only 11 degrees of variance. These temperatures are tight. The range on this set of data was 95. There was a lot of variance in there. On these temperatures, not so much. The temperatures didn't vary greatly. Okay, the next one. They have given me a line plot for this one. It says, use the data set for items 9 through 12. Data is collected on the number of hours students study per week to maintain an A average. So let's count the dots here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I asked 13 students, how many hours do you study each week to keep your A average? One student said, I study 5 hours. 2 students said 6 hours. 1 student said 7 hours, and so on. I am still going to build a frequency table. because I want you to see how these two data sources are related. They're going to say the same thing. I'm going to build it right here. They're going to say exactly the same thing. It's just two different ways of showing it. And that's what I want you to see. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows plus a header. And in this case, we're looking at the number of hours. And the frequency this time, I'm going to use the word students. So with nobody said 4 hours, so I'm not even going to put that on my table. One student said, I study 5 hours a week. 2 students said, I study 6 hours a week. And remember, this dot is a student, one person. It's the same thing as before, but we had X's before. 1 student said, I study 7. 3 people said, I study 8 hours a week. 4 people said, I study 9 hours a week. And 2 people said, I study 10 hours a week. So again, count your tick marks, your tally marks. There's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That should match the number of circles, dots appear. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We talked to 13 students. So this table is saying exactly the same thing as that graph. It's just two different ways of looking at it. Okay, let's get the mean. We had 1 student who said 5. We had 2 students who said 6. We had a 7. We had 3 times 8. We had 4 times 9. And we had 2 times 10. And I need to do parentheses first. So there's 12. There's 24. There's 36 and 20. And then I'm going to add all this mess up on my calculator. I'm not going to try to do this mentally because I won't get it right. 5 plus 12 plus 7 plus 24 plus 36 plus 20 equals. And I came up with 104. Let me check. Yes, that is correct. So all of that equals 104. And we divide that by 13 because we asked 13 students. And the mean is going to be 8. Some studied more than that. Some studied less than that. But the average is 8. Okay, to do the median, let me paste this table right here. I will erase it in just a second. The median, that's not the right one, is it? I thought that looked kind of peculiar. Let me copy this one. Make sure you've got the right data set. That's so important. So here we go. Start with your smallest, which is the 5. Then you have 2 6s. You have a 7. You have 3 8s. You have 4 9s. And you have 2 10s. Make sure you have 13 students right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I find sometimes that I have too many. I've counted somebody twice, or just be careful there. so that you get the right amount. The median is the one in the middle. So if you have 13, that means that you would have 6 on each end. And so the middle will be this 8 right there. You have 6 on either side. 1, 2, 3, yeah. So this is your median, which is the same as the mean. That is not at all unusual for the m's to be the same number, or very close to the same number. The mode, remember that word means most. And most of the students, at least more than the others, said 9 hours. That was the most popular time. So 9 hours. Number 12. To do this one, I've gone ahead and copied in this graph down here at the bottom. Yours doesn't have that, I know, but I just made a copy because I want to show you something there. Number 12 says, which two sentences correctly describe the range and the distribution of the data? Well, the range I just found up here. 10 minus 5 is 5. So for range, I like B. Now, let's talk just a little bit about distribution. If you look at your data, which would be the hours studied, I want you to visualize, or you can draw with me, the halfway point on this line. Halfway would be right here. That is cutting the number line into halves. So, is this distribution balanced? And distribution just refers to how the dots are lying out on the graph. Is the plot even on both sides, or is it heavier on one side than the other? So let's count. On this side, it says that 4 students are in this area. On this other side, you count them, and we have 9 dots. We have 9 students. So this is not evenly distributed. We say that this is skewed left because it's heavier on the right side. It is skewed on the left side. So we would say that this data set is skewed left. And that is going to be, it's not symmetric. Symmetric would mean that they're the same on both sides. It is E. The distribution is skewed left because it's heavier on the right. Skewed is the side that's lighter. So it is skewed to the left. Number 13. We get a new set of data. Sorry. Data is collected on the number of miles park rangers hike per week at City Park. So again, the dots represent the rangers. So 2 rangers said they hiked 1 mile. 2 rangers said they hiked 5 miles. So the range here is from 1 to 5. I can already tell you the range. 5 minus 1 is 4. So if we have to know that, we know the range right here. Okay, I am going to build a frequency table because I want to give you that practice. Frequency tables pop up all over the place. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows and then a header. So let's make 6. So maybe someone went up to Cage Cove and they talked to some rangers. They're comparing. That's statistical data. So they asked the men and women who work as park rangers, how many miles a week do you hike? And so we have miles from 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And frequency, you can put frequency, or I'm going to call them rangers, because that's what those tally marks represent. So 2 rangers said 1 mile. 3 of these people said 2. 6 of them, well, there's 5. 6 of them said 3. 3 of them said 4, and 2 of them said 5. Stop and count the rangers. 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Count the dots. Make sure that you have the same number of dots. 2, 5, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So we're dealing with 16 rangers. Okay, what is the mean? You know they're going to ask that one. So let's figure it out. I have 1 times 2 people plus 2 times 3 people plus 3 times 6 rangers plus 4 times 3 rangers plus 5 times 2 rangers. So let's do our parentheses. Use the calculator as you need it. And then let's add them up. So I've got 26, 36, 38, 4. I believe it's 48. I sure wish you guys could answer me so you can say that you agree or you don't. I'm going to go with that. I'm pretty sure that's it. I did not use my calculator that time. And we're dividing that by 16 rangers. So 48 divided by 16 is 3. That means on average, these rangers hike 3 miles. Some hiked more, some hiked less, but the average, the mean, was 3. The median. And for my median, I'm going to get a copy of this table because that's going to help me. Let's put it right there. Actually, I'm going to put it right here because I need it right there, and I'll just work from below. So we have 1 and 1, 2, 2, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those 3s. Then 4, 4, 4, and 5, 5. Stop and count your rangers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. If you lose a ranger, you will skew your data. So you got to make sure you count them all. We have 16, so the midpoint would be halfway. This is a tricky one. Let's zoom in here. So I would take 8 off each side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then come in this way with 8 of them. And you see what's happened. The median is right in there. So it's between 2 numbers. We're lucky this time, though, because what's between 3 and 3? Nothing. It is 3. So the median is 3, even though there are 2 of them there. If those were different numbers, we would have to find the average of the 2 numbers in that box. But they're not in this one. The median is 3. The mode. If I can see this frequency table, I can tell you the mode. The one that occurs most often is the 3. There are 6 of those occurrences. So that is the mode. And then which 2 sentences correctly describe the range and distribution of the data? Okay, the range I found, remember it's 4. And let me take a picture of this graph. And I'll bring it down there for us. So let's put it right. Excuse me, guys. I had the best salad for dinner, but it's just not agreeing with me for some reason. Okay, remember our range was 4, so we can pick C. And then we need to look at distribution. I love it when it looks like this. This is a beautiful normal distribution. Because look at, here's the midline. And then look at how this is distributed. It is symmetric. If you imagine a mirror right here in the 3s, if this is a mirror, it is the same on both sides. That's called symmetry or symmetric. It is a 6, 3, and 2. That is symmetric. So when we go to pick the distribution on this one, we want to say it is not skewed. It is symmetric. So I like C and D for this one. I really enjoy these kinds of graphs. This is what I thrive on, but not everybody does. So if you have questions about mean, median, mode, and range, please do not hesitate to talk to your instructor. He or she can give you more practice and help you to understand this a lot better. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.